Hi, welcome to Gabbing with Girlfriends. And of course, my girlfriend today is Gabby Hughes. Hi, Gabby.
Hi, Gloria.
How are you?
I'm good.
Are you ready for Halloween?
No,
But do you get ready for Halloween? Do you put up Halloween decorations?
I used to. I don't have that many anymore for some reason. And we don't have a lot of kids in the neighborhood. So there's not really any trick or treaters coming to the house. If there were, I would definitely, make a bigger effort and pass out candy and stuff like that.
Every year, wherever I am, except in England, but every year I buy the candy thinking somebody's going to come. And I know they're not. So I'm obviously buying the candy for me. And I don't get what's happened that people don't come. Sometimes I think I'm in too remote, depending on where I am. Like I know my house in LA was so remote. There was no way anybody was going to come there. There was
Right,
nobody. There was nobody around to come. Um,
right.
but I just don't get. I don't know why the kids. I don't know if kids do it less now. I know
I
when
think they do it different. I think they do it different. I
what do you
think they
think they
have
do?
Halloween parties at school, and I think they do maybe things with their family, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's go to grandma's house or something. And they don't do it. Also, what you said about being remote is true. Like, I live in a neighborhood, but there's not a lot of children in this neighborhood. It's,
Mhm, mhm.
retired people and stuff. And when I grew up, we basically lived in army housing, which is apartment complexes, and there's kids everywhere, right? So trick or treating was easy and fun. But when you just live in a house in a neighborhood, even if you had kids, they probably have a Halloween party at school and you want to take them over to grandma's and show them the costume and stuff, you know?
Yeah,
That's what I think.
and I think too, you do that. But I also find, like, how there's some streets that have like the most amazing Christmas lights, so everybody piles in the
Yeah.
car and go driving through. I think there's neighborhoods that have spooky houses that
Yes.
well, when my grandkids lived in Studio City, there were a couple streets where it was like you wouldn't believe how much stuff they did. Like some of these houses had like an outside maze with like dry ice and people dressed up and spooking the kids, and it was like quite like little horror house, not
Yeah.
horror houses.
Horror. Yeah.
That's a hard word to say. Horror houses that were really scary for the kids, which they love. But I can't believe how much people put into it, which is awesome. Like,
Yeah, there's some houses here in Torrance that, man, people go all out
yeah,
with
there's.
decorations outside. I'm like, wow, you're going to do that. These same people also decorate for Christmas, so they're just into the holiday mode.
And does that mean they have small children and they're doing it for them? Or if they've been doing it for the past 15 years, their children are no longer small. So they're doing it for themselves. And I love that too.
They're
I think,
doing it because they love it. They
yeah,
love it.
I love it that they love it. Um, but, and do you know what I saw? He doesn't know I saw him, but I saw my husband the other day online looking at all these like kind of fancy Halloween things. And I just, like, not like, oh, I can't explain it, but just like a certain kind of brand of like nice Halloween decorations that you would do.
Right.
I don't know who for. Um,
I hope it's for you.
but no, but I'm hoping he didn't buy them because our cat, we have two new kittens that
Oh,
go through our house looking for things to break. That's all they do. Yeah, we're kind of down two frames at the moment, and I just can't even. I mean, the furniture, forget it. I thought, I thought my um, I don't know what word, original cats or my resident cats or whatever my three cats were. I
yeah.
thought they were a little destructive. No, 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 no. I now like
You need to get one of those cat
got it. I
tree
got one.
things. Oh, you got one? Okay.
Not a cat tree thing. I have a cat tree. But you know what I really want to get? I used to in California have this catio. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, yes, the catio. I remember your catio. Yeah.
Now I'm thinking maybe I need that.
You
And
need
then
a catio.
but then I think, What about any bugs that are outside?
No, you know what? Who cares? Right? Cats eat bugs or they play with bugs. That's what cats do.
Mm,
I have a friend. I know this woman who she had some rescue cats and she didn't want them to go outside and get hurt, right? But she wanted them to be able to enjoy the outdoors. She literally drilled a hole in the wall of her bedroom that had a tube in it that went out into the yard, that went into a giant, like almost like a geodesic dome, but made of like fencing. And then the cats could go through the tube, kind of like a doggy door, only a kitty door to a fenced in area, all in a dome. And there was a tree. She had plants and places for the cats to sit, but they got to go outside in and out through that tube, and she never had to worry about them running away.
okay, so then my question of the day is, if the cats can get back in, what about the mice or the rats or the
Well, if
squirrels?
you got 7 cats, you don't have any mice.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. That is really true. Um, but do you get rats where you are?
Yes.
Where are all these rats coming from? Everybody's getting
I
rats.
don't know. I saw one a couple of weeks ago. I saw one up like, so we live, on a hill, right? So the neighbor above us, I saw a rat walking along the hilltop between my house and the neighbor's house. And then I went into the backyard and it was walking. We have like this, like a pergola type thing. And it was walking across one of the beams of the pergola. And I was just like, oh my God. What happens is they live in ivy. There's plenty of fruit trees around here for them to eat fruit. They don't need to even eat. If someone doesn't take their garbage out, of course that would be a problem. But there's so many fruit trees. They just come in our yard and pick the oranges, eat it, and then they leave the peel behind.
I've heard that. But listen, how do you know it's the same rat? How do you know her rat or your
I
joint?
don't. I don't know where they live or where they're coming from. I don't know.
Because that could have been two different rats. Your joint
Yeah. Oh, sure.
rat.
If you see one rat, for sure, you've got a whole lot of rats. But I
We
don't
had a
know
dead
where they
rat.
are. I just saw this one rat.
We had a dead rat outside, not like right there, but close enough that I was like, really? You
I
know,
rescued a baby rat from the pool because it was drowning, and I
I was
just can't
very,
watch
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
I got the net and I scooped it out and I put it in the yard, and I figured, it'll either live or die, and it's not on me.
Yeah. Yeah. I struggle. I don't know if I probably would have done that, but I don't even want to think about it because I'm just yeah.
As long as they stay away from me,
Then you're
um,
cool.
I can deal. We also have a ton of hawks flying overhead, so I'm sure that they're getting something to eat. I just hope that people aren't using poison and then it kills the hawk.
Okay, you have to hear this. This is true. I've probably told you this, but in California, I was walking outside to take the rubbish out. So I had a garbage bag in my hand. Did I tell you this about this? Me walking.
About the Yeah, but yeah,
All of a sudden, something landed on my shoulder. I jumped. I freaked. I looked down, and it was half a squirrel, like in the hawk above.
dropped from the
Yeah.
sky.
Oh, from the
What
hawk.
are the
Just
what are the odds of that
no, no.
happening?
That second, the hawk happened to be flying right where I was walking and couldn't carry it anymore. Yeah, you figure.
Wild.
Yeah,
Wild. Totally wild. The hawks are beautiful. I love them.
yeah, me too. This sounds like a Halloween show, though, now, doesn't it?
Yeah. All I need is a few crows to fly over.
Yeah. Um, okay, so speaking of Halloween shows, I have Halloween questions, and do you know what? I actually was going to send them to you, and I forgot. But I
It's
think
okay. Just hit me.
so fast anyway, it doesn't matter. And do you know what? I didn't look at them either, so
Okay.
I don't have a leg up on you. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
What was your favorite costume as a kid?
Um,
But wait, I
I,
have to back up. If anybody's listening to this and want to send in your really horrible rat, hawk, whatever kind of gross stories like that, this is the episode for you to do that sort of thing.
yeah.
Send them in. Okay.
My favorite costume, I had two. One was one year I dressed as a gypsy and I had this really cool skirt and I had my hair in a scarf and I had lots of jewelry on. And then one year I had this costume. I was a big red bird, and it was like my mom used to make all of our costumes, but
Ours
this
fun
was an
too.
old costume that she had found in my grandmother's. I don't know, maybe from the 40s or 50s, and it was a big red bird, and I loved that one too.
I honestly, and I used to trick or treat, and I can remember my kids' costumes, which was obviously more recent than when I was a child. I can't remember any costumes. I know my mom made them, but I honestly can't remember anything that I ever was.
I used to now when I got older, I used to help my mom pass out the candy, and we would always dress up. And I dressed up one year in red long underwear and had devil horns and passed out candy. And my mom made me, a tail and everything. And I
You
mean, I
20?
love dressing like that too.
Were you 20 then?
No, I was like in high school.
Well, that's older.
Yeah, but I was passing out the treats.
Yeah,
I
no, I love
wasn't.
it. I love it. I was just wondering because of what the costume was. I didn't know if it was
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I loved it. I loved dressing up.
next question. Yeah, I wish I could remember. I honestly, I don't know if there's a reason I can't remember certain things about my childhood, but that's one I really, really don't remember. And I don't, it's funny that it's interesting.
Gloria, my first Halloween costume ever when I was, almost 3 years old, my parents made me a butterfly costume. And what they did was my dad cut out wings out of a piece of cardboard, and my mother painted them, and then she
Oh,
put felt on the back to strap me in. I still have it.
oh, I love
I
that.
still have that from 1966 Halloween.
Oh, oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome. I love that.
yeah.
Okay, and next, best, oh, I like this. Am I, okay, best family costume theme.
We didn't do that.
No, no, but neither did we. But
We didn't dress as
we've
a
seen that though, like as, but you know what I mean? What would you think would be a good family if it's not your family? Like I know my son has done
the Dukes of Hazard.
yeah, that's a good one. Like I know my son's family has done that, but I mean, you could do Marvel ones. You could do. I mean,
You
there's
could do the Brady Bunch,
that's good. See how fast you are. I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm thinking of the
or
obvious.
you could do like the Jackson Five or the Osmonds or any singing group.
Oh, I love that. Spice
Yeah,
Girls. That's a good one.
Spice.
That's a good theme.
You could do anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I like the Spice Girls one. Yeah, that would be fun if you were kind of that high school age or
Yeah,
younger. I guess
yeah,
high school age is too old for that, but kids all dressing up like Spice Girls. It's cute.
yeah.
Um, okay, favorite Halloween memories. Well, you've got millions. I
I
obviously
got tons. Yeah.
didn't have one. I didn't have Halloween, obviously. But go on. So, what is your favorite?
Well, I liked all of it. Like my we would also have a Halloween party every year. So my mom would do things like hang apples from the ceiling, and we had to bite them, and we would do bobbing for apples.
Which is really gross. I
Yeah,
do bobbing for apples. My kids used to do it,
but
but
it
I
was
would
fun.
say
And then she had this game one year that was so funny. So we were in two teams, and she had two old suitcases with like an outfit in it, and you had to put the outfit on over your costume, run with the suitcase to your partner, take the costume off, and then they had to get. And we anyway, all of us kids were laughing so hard over the crazy costumes. My sister banged the suitcase into our television, which was, the old with the
yeah,
plastic
yeah.
thing, and it had a big crack in the corner. So
Oh my god.
after that, our television had a big crack in the corner from that Halloween.
Oh my god, I love that. Well, mine, I can't remember my own, but I remember when my sister-in-law, I had to think what her relationship was with me, but yeah, my brother's wife, she made Biff an ET costume, and he was just mesmerized and fascinated by ET. That was the first movie he ever saw, and at a cinema, and he stood in front of the mirror forever. To get him away from the mirror to go trick or treating was a feat in itself. He just couldn't
That's
believe it.
hilarious.
Yeah, it looked so good, and I kept that costume. because I'm kind of a hoarder anyway, especially with things
Yeah.
that belong to my children. I kept that costume for years. It must have disintegrated because I can't believe I ever would have thrown it away. But it was so cool and it meant so much to him. And oh, it's sad if it's gone. I don't know where it would.
Yeah.
It must be gone. But yeah. But that's my favorite Halloween memory.
That and the thing is my sister was dressed at that party like this giant rabbit, but she put on my dad's white long underwear, and she had put like rabbit ears and stuffed her gut, so she was like this fat rabbit. But then she drawn like a mustache and stuff and was smoking a plastic cigar. And like when she came downstairs, all of us kids just died laughing because it was so
Cute.
funny to us.
I bet. That's funny. That's really cute. Okay. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
I would say candy corn, and also I like popcorn balls at that time of year.
Hmm. Hmm.
My mom always made popcorn balls, and we all liked candy corn.
Yeah, I liked candy corn too. That's so sickly. It's like now thinking that I like that. Like
It
now,
makes my teeth it
yeah,
makes my
me too.
teeth hurt
Me
just
too.
thinking about it.
Me too. But I used to love when I'd get like the little, well, because everything you got back then was little. And I do remember, don't remember what I wore, but I do remember being loving little Snickers. And
Oh,
yeah, I loved those. And I wonder how many people now, because every mom I know, I think every mom yeah, I think everybody I know with kids now don't really allow much sugar in their house.
right.
That I wonder how many people will let their kids go trick or treating. And then when they get home, they go through the candy to
Well,
what,
my mom regulated it. Like we could go, but then we were only allowed to have one piece a day, and we had to pick like which one we were going to eat.
huh?
Yeah. So
No,
she let us have it, but she just didn't let us have it all at one time.
huh? That makes, I mean, that's good. But do you remember when when there were all those scary stories about things that,
Oh God, I loved that shit.
no,
There's a razor blade in the
yeah.
apple. Oh, I loved it.
I wonder if people still think those kind of things happen. Well, I'm
I
sure
don't
they
know, but
do.
it's
No, I'm
hilarious
sure
to
they
me.
do. I
Like,
don't know about razor blades, but I'm sure somewhere some sicko does something. Yeah,
yeah,
people
but I
should do
mean,
that stuff.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
weird. I
yeah.
just think it's weird. But I also thought it was really like cool and funny and scary that when we're out, we might get an apple with a razor blade in it. I was always kind of hoping I would get one.
You might be one of the lucky ones.
Yeah.
Um, buddy.
Do you
I,
remember trick or treating for UNICEF?
yes, I
I
remember
had my
buying it. I
little
never
box. You
did
had
it.
your little box?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah, but there were now that you said that, I remember not just UNICEF, but I remember I think the grocery stores had their kind of theme things or their charity things or their whatever things where you'd get their bags that would be for a particular
Oh, we never had
product.
that. We never had that.
Huh, maybe it was a southern
I
thing.
just remember trick or treating for UNICEF
Hmm,
as a kid.
hmm, 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 hmm. Okay, what about favorite Halloween movies that you probably wouldn't have had as a kid? This is, I think, a grown-up question.
Uh, well, I didn't really watch scary movies as a kid, and I don't really watch them now. I mean, I think probably that it has nothing to do with Halloween, but that movie where the guy buried the people in the garden and just their heads were up so he could eat them, that scared the crap out of me, and that is like kind of a Halloween movie. And then Death Race 2000. But other than that, I never watched, Halloween. I did watch the movie Scream, but
Counts.
that
Would they show
that's all.
the Halloween
Those
time?
are my scary movies.
Yeah, I don't really watch scary movies, but I could. And this isn't a Halloween movie. Well, wasn't there a movie called Halloween?
Yeah, but I never watched it.
No, me neither, but I'd have to say that one because something like Exorcist or The Omen or something, those make for great Halloween movies. But
Oh, I loved The Exorcist. Oh, I loved it.
I don't remember any of them being Halloween. Did you know what I watched not last night, last week? I was just flicking through and found a movie, and I thought, oh, I'm going to watch this, not knowing what it was, but it was a remake of Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, wow. That was a great
That
movie
was
too.
a great movie, but you should find it. It wasn't called
Okay.
Rosemary's Baby, but it's exactly the same
Same
story.
story.
Yeah. I even think his
Yeah.
name was Roman and whatever. But
Roman Polanski did that with Mia Farrow.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Before he was Me Too
Yeah.
or whatever he was.
Um, but I loved Rosemary's Baby and also Whatever Happened to Baby Jane and those kind of psychological thriller films.
Yes, and I don't know what made me want to watch Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I was watching some documentary on. Oh no, I'll tell you what it was. I watched Swans,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and it had Bette Davis in it. Not her, but her
Betty
person,
Davis. Yeah.
and it made me want to watch that.
Yeah. That was a good film.
Now I forgot, but now I've got to
Really
find.
good film.
What would you dress up as for Halloween if expense? What would you dress up now for
Uh-huh.
Halloween if expense wasn't a factor?
Oh gosh, I really have a hard time coming up with costume ideas. I had this friend that always had a Halloween party every year, and it would just like mess with my mind trying to come up with an idea. And I usually would go to a rental place to get some inspiration. Like one year I rented the Sherlock Holmes cape and hat, and then I bought a magnifying glass and a pipe. And I loved being Sherlock Holmes, and that was really cheap. So if there was no expense option, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe, I don't know, maybe dress up like a character from what was that film? I can't think of it right now. You're going to have to answer that while I try to use my brain cells.
Well, I don't think my brain cells are really working yet today because I can't even think of what I'd want to do. And do you know what? When I when I've as an adult gone to Halloween parties, I would usually be the one going that didn't even dress up because I just had a
Oh,
time imagining like, or I've gone as a nun, or I've gone as, just something really simple. And
you know that movie with Mike Myers in it and Elizabeth Hurley where he's like the spy dude and she's always dressed really cool. Like I would like to wear one of her sparkly silver outfits and then make Glenn dress up like the Mike Myers character.
what's the movie? What is it?
you know, I can't think of it right now. Hold on. I have to Google it. Uh,
No, not. Oh, I think I know what you mean.
you know
Not
what I'm talking about where he's the
is there a
spy?
mini. Is there a mini me? No.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
You know,
I know what it's called, but um,
I can't.
yeah, I've got no idea, but I know what you mean, and I have seen it. There was a part two and probably a part three or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's why can't I think of it?
But you
I don't
know
know. I can't think of it. Why can't I think of the name of that? Austin Powers.
that? Duh. Do you know I don't like her? I don't dislike her. Well, I don't really
You
like
don't
her.
like Elizabeth Hurley?
No, isn't that weird? I'm the
Why?
only person I know that doesn't like her, and I'm the only person I know that thinks she looks like she needs a bath.
Oh, I don't think that at all.
So everybody thinks she's really pretty and
She
really
is
whatever.
pretty.
She always looks like she kind of has on yesterday's makeup. That's what I mean by bath. Not
Huh.
like she doesn't look dirty. She just looks like
Oh, yeah.
old
I
makeup.
never have thought that.
Hmm. I don't know why, but there you go. When people talk to spirits from beyond, what is the sound of their voice? That's a hard one because I don't know if this means
You mean if okay, so like the people that channel and they go, "I'm speaking to your grandmother right now. She wants you to know she's okay." There's not really a voice. I think
yeah,
they're
I don't
just
think so.
getting
But
mental.
maybe they think this. Maybe whoever asked this question thinks that spirits have a voice. So, what do they sound like? But I
I
think
got
that's
news for you. If you're
that
dead, you're dead, and your voice box is shut down.
there you go. I'm with you. I'm with you, my friend. Okay, if you had to live in a Halloween movie, which one would you choose and why? Well, we don't really know the Halloween movies. So
Well, I don't want to live in any of them if I'm going to get axe murdered or buried in the ground. So there
you
you have
don't,
that.
you don't want your head sticking out for everybody?
No, no,
Okay.
I can't deal with any of that. If I'm going to live in a movie, I want it to be like I live in Downton Abbey in the upstairs part, not in the kitchen.
Okay, well, you kind of answered this one, but I'd love anybody that's listening to tell us what they think about spirits, if they believe spirits actually exist. So that's a question on here for you.
I hope they do. I mean, I hope so,
You
but
just said if you're dead, you're dead.
I hope so, but once you're dead, you're dead. I mean, it would be nice to think that I could be haunted by someone, but it hasn't happened yet. And I've known a lot of people who died. So
But
I'm
haven't
just
you
saying,
have you ever done things like somebody you loved has passed? So you've done something like maybe put their toothbrush somewhere in your bathroom to see if it moved or anything happened that was that person's.
I've never done that.
I did it when my sister passed. It was actually her toothbrush, and I was so convinced because she was quite psychic, for want of a better word. She had kind of like permanent. She always knew when something was going to happen. Not always,
Right,
most of the time.
right.
And so I was pretty convinced if there anybody was going to be able to prove that there was some kind of life after death, it would be her.
She would be the one to let you know.
Yeah, and her toothbrush stayed in the same place for 6 months, so I ended up just
Yeah.
putting it down. Um, okay. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah. Okay. I just totally lost. Okay. Do you believe in spirits? Have you ever had a spiritual encounter or know someone that has? And I have. I actually did. I had a ghost encounter, and I'm somebody that has never believed in ghosts. And I don't even know. This is too long of a story that I should say for maybe an episode and do nothing but talk about this. But very long story short, um, when the guys were making, I don't remember what album it was. I guess Mob Rules. It was Mob Rules, and we were all in England, and a couple of things happened where Terry and Wendy saw something, and I didn't believe them, and
Yeah.
they both were convinced they saw something out of the corner of their eye, and I thought it was a mouse or something. Speaking of mice, um, but then one night, Biff, who was so young, like he wasn't speaking yet, in his crib, and stood up and had a conversation with this wood statue that was right by his crib. Anyway, really long story short, we found out that wood statue and we moved rooms to back up a bit. We had moved rooms when Terry and Wendy kept thinking they saw things coming from that room. And because I was convinced it was a mouse, so we moved rooms. And then the room we were in is the new room, had the statue where Biff spoke to. And I couldn't even tell you what words he said, but he spoke. And and the next day I said, we're going to have to check out because now I'm in another room I don't like. And I told the woman at the desk what happened. And she said, a lot of people say that room is haunted. The statue of the little boy in there drowned in the room you were previously in. So I mean, people think that maybe that was his ghost in that room that I saw or well, I didn't see that I thought was a mouse or
Look,
some.
I think England and Wales and those places have a lot of ghosts, old houses, and people think there's ghosts. I would love to
Really,
experience that, but I also know there's going to be a logical explanation,
this
right?
this hotel used to be Queen, who's ever
Yeah.
lodged.
And I'm sure that there, I mean, I would love to have a ghost experience. I just don't think I just think there would be a reason behind it, but that doesn't mean I don't want the experience.
Yeah, I mean, I was we did check out. I was so freaked out, I can't even tell you. But yeah, so I think that, you know, England's just, this place was called Great Fosters. I wonder if it still exists. But anyway, I do think that if there's going to be a ghostly encounter, it'll be in England
It's
or,
going to be in one of those old castle buildings in England. Yeah.
um, okay. So if you were eating, this doesn't just apply to Halloween, it's any time. Um, but for Halloween, would you rather fruit candy or chocolate? Chocolate.
Uh, right
B.
now, I don't really care. I'd rather have a popcorn ball.
That wasn't the question, Gabby. You just made up an answer to your own made up question.
I don't, okay, I guess I'm not a big candy person. So I don't really care, to be perfectly honest. Fruit candy sounds horribly sweet, and chocolate sounds, like I'm going to get shitty candy bars. No offense. Nobody's going to be passing me out Godiva or, something. I don't want a candy bar that tastes like wax, and I just don't want it. Give me a popcorn ball.
I get it. I do get that. Speaking of Godiva, this is an interesting little story that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it always makes me think. I remember once upon a time being at an airport with a friend of mine and her daughter, grown up daughter, and I remember we were going to Maui, and we stopped in the little shop at the airport for me to get a candy bar. And can't even remember what it was, but I actually think it was an almond joy, whatever it was, just some normal candy bar. And this girl took it out of my hand and went up to the desk, and there was a Godiva bar there. And this was years ago, and Godiva was, quite hoity-toity then,
Yeah,
or more so than Hershey's, for sure.
for sure, because it didn't taste like wax.
Wax. So that's funny. But so I said, "What are you doing? This isn't what I wanted." She said, "If you're going to consume that number of calories, you
Make
may,
it worth your while.
yeah."
I've done that to Glenn. When he goes for a candy bar, I'm like, why are you buying this shit? Spend the same amount of money on something that tastes a whole lot better. You'll get less, but you'll need less. I don't want to see that crap in my house, you
Uh,
know?
yeah, that's really funny because I would have
When I
never.
was a kid, I loved at Halloween getting the little almond joy or the little, or the mounds with the little,
Yeah,
I loved that. But if I was to eat one now, it would be tasteless to me. It would taste like wax.
it's fun. No, it does. And do you know what? Do you know why you know it tastes like wax? Because you're used to, or you have had your fair share of English chocolates.
Yeah,
And
I know what good tastes
yeah,
like. And
that's the
so
difference. Because I never knew.
I never
Um,
knew. My parents weren't buying me that stuff. Are you kidding me?
yeah, yeah. Um, okay, so what? This isn't necessarily Halloween either, and I'm so sorry, but this is going to have to be a you question because I don't think the answer being People Magazine or Hollywood Reporter or any of the other magazines that I read would qualify as an answer for this. But what's the scariest book you've ever read? I don't. I'm not a good reader, so
Oh, well, gosh. There's a couple, but I would say Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. Remember Rebecca?
yes,
And the old movie is great, but the book is really good. And um, I mean, Edgar Allan Poe has some good stories. I mean, Kafka has frightening emotional stories. There's a lot of good scary stories out there, but Rebecca would be probably my favorite.
yeah. I wish I could have answered that intelligently, but I couldn't because I just don't really read books. Um, those are all my questions.
Oh, nice. We did that very well, I thought.
Me too. And I thought this was fun. It was different.
Yeah,
But
I'm still waiting for some crows, but I don't see any.
if you're listening, send
Mr.
us a question.
Crow, where are you?
If you're listening, send us a crow. And if you can't find a crow, please send us questions because we really love.
Love questions. I love questions. Ask me anything.
Because you know what? Then we don't have to think of things to talk about because
Exactly,
you
because
know
I
it's done
don't
it
have any
for us.
brain cells left. Mine are pickled, and I'm tired, so you got to ask me questions for me to talk.
Yes, no kidding. And I am, well, those same excuses. And I'm not really caffeinated today. I had
Oh,
a tiny
man.
bit of coffee and I'm trying to abstain a bit today. So yeah, that's my life story. That's my whole story for the day.
That's me, yeah.
And this was fun.
This
And
was fun.
so, okay, we'll figure out a day next week, maybe, because then we're that much closer to Halloween. So I'm sure we'll have more Halloween
Yeah,
questions.
let's do more Halloweeny.
Yay! Send in questions. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for listening to us because um, I don't really. it just seems like the thing to say. But no, I'm glad you listened to us. Thank you. Bye,
Thank you.
Gabby. Mwah.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in today, and be sure to follow Gabbing with Girlfriends on here so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on social media for more fun and in-depth conversations. Thank you.